gang. Book one gang. Saving short gang. Stanbic IBTC gang. 909 fan gang. Insta love gang. Stanbic IBTC is the right gang.
Set I want.
Stanbic IBTC gang.
Set I want.
909 fan gang.
I want.
Insta love gang. Of Lagos. You know me, who gang? You are moving with the right gang. You are moving with the right gang. Right now you are moving with the right gang. You know me, gang, gang. You are moving with the right gang. You are moving with the right gang. Right now you are moving with the right gang. Show mommy, gang. You dey move with the right gang. Oh, move with the right gang. Right now you dey move with the right gang. Show mommy, turning gang. Oh, move with the right gang. You dey move with the right gang. Right now you dey move with the right gang. Set and one investment club gang. Book one gang. Saving short gang. Stanbic IBTC gang. 909 fan gang. Insta love gang. Stanbic IBTC is the right gang.
Set I want.
Stanbic IBTC gang.
Set I want.
909 fan gang.
I want.
Insta love gang. Of Lagos. You know me, who gang? You are moving with the right gang. You are moving with the right gang. Right now you are moving with the right gang. You know me, gang, gang. You are moving with the right gang. You are moving with the right gang. Right now you are moving with the right gang. Show mommy, gang. You dey move with the right gang. Oh, move with the right gang. Right now you dey move with the right gang. Show mommy, turning gang. Oh, move with the right gang. You dey move with the right gang. Right now you dey move with the right gang. Set and one investment club gang. Book one gang. Saving short gang. Stanbic IBTC gang. 909 fan gang. Insta love gang. Stanbic IBTC is the right gang.
Set I want.
Stanbic IBTC gang.
Set I want.
909 fan gang.
I want.
Insta love gang. Of Lagos. You know me, who gang? You are moving with the right gang. You are moving with the right gang. Right now you are moving with the right gang. You know me, gang, gang. You are moving with the right gang. You are moving with the right gang. Right now you are moving with the right gang. Show mommy, gang. You dey move with the right gang. Oh, move with the right gang. Right now you dey move with the right gang. Show mommy, turning gang. Oh, move with the right gang. You dey move with the right gang. Right now you dey move with the right gang. Set and one investment club gang. Book one gang. Saving short gang. Stanbic IBTC gang. 909 fan gang. Insta love gang. Stanbic IBTC is the right gang.
Set I want.
Stanbic IBTC gang.
Set I want.
909 fan gang.
I want.
Insta love gang. Of Lagos. You know me, who gang? You are moving with the right gang. You are moving with the right gang. Right now you are moving with the right gang. You know me, gang, gang. You are moving with the right gang. You are moving with the right gang. Right now you are moving with the right gang. Show mommy, gang. You dey move with the right gang. Oh, move with the right gang. Right now you dey move with the right gang. Show mommy, turning gang. Oh, move with the right gang. You dey move with the right gang. Right now you dey move with the right gang. Set and one investment club gang. Book one gang. Saving short gang. Stanbic IBTC gang. 909 fan gang. Insta love gang. Stanbic IBTC is the right gang.
Set I want.
Stanbic IBTC gang.
Set I want.
909 fan gang.
I want.
Insta love gang. Of Lagos. You know me, who gang? You are moving with the right gang. You are moving with the right gang. Right now you are moving with the right gang. You know me, gang, gang. You are moving with the right gang. You are moving with the right gang. Right now you are moving with the right gang. Show mommy, gang. You dey move with the right gang. Oh, move with the right gang. Right now you dey move with the right gang. Show mommy, turning gang. Oh, move with the right gang. You You the move with the right gang. Right now you the move with the right gang. Set and one investment club gang. Book one gang. Saving short gang. Stanbic IBTC gang. 909 fan gang. Insta love gang. Stanbic IBTC is the right gang.
Set àwọn
Stanbic IBTC gang.
set àwọn
909 fan gang.
tàwọn
Insta love gang. Of Lagos. You know me, who gang? You are moving with the right gang. You are moving with the right gang. Right now you are moving with the right gang. You know me, gang, gang. You are moving with the right gang. You are moving with the right gang. Right now you are moving with the right gang. Show mommy, gang. You the move with the right gang. Oh, move with the right gang. Right now you the move with the right gang. Show mommy, Tani gang. Oh, move with the right gang. You the move with the right gang. Right now you the move with the right gang. Set and one investment club gang. Book one gang. Saving short gang. Stanbic IBTC gang. 909 fan gang. Insta love gang. Stanbic IBTC is the right gang.
set àwọn
Stanbic IBTC gang.
set àwọn
909 fan gang.
tàwọn
Insta love gang. Of Lagos. You know me, who gang? You are moving with the right gang. You are moving with the right gang. Right now you are moving with the right gang.
As your host for this year's Blue Women Network's annual conference, the 9th edition 2023. Please give yourselves a round of applause. It's still officially International Women's Month because we know that one day is not enough to celebrate the greatness and phenomenon of women. And so I'd like to say happy International Women's Month, and you're most welcome to a most productive and enjoyable, dare I say, afternoon. Do we have Blue Women in the room this morning? Please give yourselves a round of applause. So I was going to go very formal because, of course, the hallmark of Stanbic IBTC is excellence, professionalism. But when I came into the room and I felt the energy of the women in the room, I almost wanted to take off my shoes and put on trainers. Because whenever we have women gathered, we have the beautiful skill of being able to balance professionalism, seriousness, and a douse of color, cheerfulness, being boisterous, being able to just electrify a room. And so that's why a company or an event with women is already 90% done. Excellent already. The rest of the 10%, of course, is how we then maximize. But I want to assure you, as we all are looking forward to it, that today is going to be truly exceptional. We're going to be listening to really inspiring stories and just sharing and being able to ask questions by bearing our minds. Now, there were 3 things that made me know that this was not the usual kind of formal corporate event. The second thing, if you'd ask me, can I go on? Was the song. How can you be very serious with gang playing in the background? And so I thought I'd start by saying, where are my gang in the room? Okay, so let me start. You know, the song says Stanbic IBTC. Thank you. And then it goes Blue Women. I added that one. Then it can be. Thank you very much. And then International Women Day. And of course, embrace equity. You see, it is difficult. And then the third part was when I saw Dr. Shogunle come into the room. This is my first time seeing him not in a suit. Am I correct? And I have seen him a number of times. Even at the 30th anniversary of Stanbic IBTC. Everyone suited. And I thought, no, this is a different event. I can let loose and we can laugh and we can enjoy a beautiful morning and afternoon. Can we please celebrate the fantastic, phenomenal Blue Women Network, the planning committee. I'm so delighted to be here. And of course, might I say that the committee is looking brilliantly gorgeous in their Ashwebi. I'm still going to speak to them as to why mine was lost in the post. I would have rather worn that. Really lovely. Thank you all so very much. I'm sure that Madam Chair would set the protocol for today's event, so permit me to sidestep that for a few minutes. And just to say that one of the things we're going to be looking forward to listening to is how we can truly embrace equity. Stanbic IBTC as a brand and an institution is no stranger to this. The bank itself is proud to have a female chair, and there's some equity in the makeup of our boards across all sector. And so we're really proud of that. Can we celebrate Stanbic IBTC, please? And the fact that they allow a female MC on your stage at many events, because this was a job that was mainly dominated by men in the past. But proudly, I have been able to cut my teeth and enjoy a great relationship with Stanbic IBTC. So for giving this girl an opportunity to shine on the big stages, thank you, Stanbic IBTC. So I'm very partial. I think many other organizations that I work with know. They call me the Stanbic IBTC girl. And sometimes they wonder if I work with Stanbic IBTC. And I have many blue outfits, by the way. All right, so without further ado, as we say, thank you very much for coming this afternoon. And it's a hybrid conference where hello and welcome to our online participants as well. Thank you very much. We trust that despite whether you're on your desk, on the road, or perhaps somewhere, you will be able to listen and still gain considerably at today's conference. So I'd like to invite the gentleman and the chief he for she at Stanbic IBTC to give a welcome address, a man who is very passionate about building and developing women, Dr. Demola Shogunle, Chief Executive, Stanbic IBTC.
Yes, thank you very much. I think we are still in the morning. Good morning, everybody. I always like this event because, you see different shades of blue. So, we've been very busy since morning from 7 a.m., so I didn't have the opportunity to, look outside from my office. But just coming down, I was just overwhelmed by the shades of blue. And you are right. I don't know how they manage this uniform, but somehow. So I mean, when I was putting on my attire, I got recommendation yesterday night that I should be on blue, so I said, look, let me just try. So I hope it's not too far from your own shades of blue. But I've seen some people in graphite blue. Some people are here in Monaco blue. Some of you are not sure whether it's aquamarine or something. But it's interesting and I like it. So good morning once again. Our board members, we invited them and they are joining, online. It's always a pleasure for them, to always, be with us. We like it so that they get to know what we are doing at this level. It's always an honor, to be here today, to talk about the crucial concept of embracing equity. In our constantly evolving and complex world, it is essential to recognize and to address the disparities and the what we call unfair biases that exist in society and the workplace. Embracing equity means creating policies, systems, and practices that promote fairness, respect, and inclusion. This requires actively listening and engaging with diverse voices and perspectives, and ensuring everyone has access to the same set of resources. It is crucial to challenge power dynamics that limit opportunities for specific groups, to ensure that everyone, regardless of their background, race, gender, or socioeconomic status, has a chance to succeed. In today's world, where the playing field is not always level, The concept of equity is crucial. We must recognize that certain groups of people are often marginalized and that this needs to be addressed to ensure everyone has an equal chance to succeed. To start, we must make sure that everyone has access to the same set of resources and opportunities. We must also work to create an inclusive environment free from discrimination and prejudice. As a group, Stanbic IBTC has a responsibility to remain ahead of the curve and embrace equity in all aspects of our business. We must create an equitable environment where everyone feels they have a seat at the table. Their voices are heard, and everyone has access to available opportunity. We are committed to creating a diverse, inclusive, and equitable workplace, free from harassment and discrimination. This means taking a stand against discrimination and prejudice and treating everyone with respect and dignity. It includes speaking up when someone is being treated unfairly, avoiding stereotypes, and actively listening to different perspectives. Finally, it is essential to emphasize that embracing equity is not only the right thing to do, but it is also the smart thing to do. When everyone has the same chance to succeed, our group will be stronger and more successful. By embracing equity, we can create an environment that promotes innovation, creativity, and collaboration, making us a leading group in the industry. At Stanbic IBTC, we continue to embrace equity, and the message is that everyone should join us. It's not impossible that most of us will have seen that picture. The senior, I would say the founding or the pioneer senior management team of Stanbic IBTC, as far back as 1989, we had 50-50 split between male and female senior management team. As far back as 1989, before this whole thing got to United Nations, we were already ahead. so our guest speaker, you remember when we were chatting, and you are telling me, I said, look, he's in our best interest, because she was thanking me for the support we are giving. I said, no, madam, he's in our best interest. We could not have gone this far, right, without embracing it from the beginning. So, I mean, we've always been out there, being visionary about these things, and it has worked for us. And at a personal level, I remember I went for a program, a program in Harvard, and they put us into different groups, and they were meant to tell us about this whole subject. And they were trying to persuade us. They brought a professor. When we saw the content, I raised my hand. I said, Prof, you are making a wrong assumption. He said, what do I mean? I said, look, some of us, you don't need to persuade us, and you don't need to tell us the reason for us to work, in an equitable environment. That my first boss, a female, the person that recommended me for this program, a female, and I went on and on to say that, and that it's better you separate this class into two. Those of us who have been working with female bosses, female direct reports, female line managers, let us share our experience with those who didn't have the privilege, so that we can attend to their concerns, fears, and anxieties. The professor said, Demola, do you want to take over the class? But that was what we did. So I'm saying here, please join us, let us take the message across, when it comes to equity, and let us embrace it. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Demola Shogunle. Please, another round of applause for such a powerful welcome address. And just highlighting the fact that before the Millennium Development Goals, before the Sustainable Development Goals, as far back as 1989, Stanbic IBTC was setting the pace. And that's something to be certainly proud of. I remember the picture and even remember the way the women were leaning in and the men was such a powerful representation of the power of having an inclusive workforce. And it was Jesse Jackson who said, inclusion is not a matter of political correctness. It is the key to growth. And so you would wonder why, or not wonder why, Stanbic IBTC has been able to experience such monumental growth since 1989. Absolutely phenomenal. Thank you so very much, sir. And next, I'd like us to turn our attention to the screen. We have a short video to show you, 2 videos actually, but I'll introduce the first one. And as we watch that video, please listen to the words. I do believe that it would resonate with some of our experiences, and sometimes we might even be able to identify ourselves in the people who are represented on screen. Please watch.
You know that little voice in your head? The one that tells you to ignore a tasteless joke. The one that tells you to keep quiet when a client makes a racist comment. The little voice that tells you you're not smart enough because English isn't your first language. Or that it's okay to judge someone for leaving early because they have family commitments.
Just for the next few minutes or perhaps seconds, please turn your attention to the screen one more time.
Stanbic IBTC, I would say, is that bank that has a focus for solutioning for customers, and the SME
Stanbic
business
IBTC,
is very critical to our heart. But I think
that
beyond
bank
that has a focus for solutioning for customers, and the SME business is very critical to our heart, but I think beyond that, being specific is also the women business. Today, even our regulators have built a sustainability principle framework such that, all financial institutes have solutions specific to empower women in business. And we've also taken up that journey. We have a flagship product today called Blue Blossom. And what Blue Blossom has done, or to help us achieve, is put together financial solution that would empower our customers. We're looking at transacting at little to no cost. We're looking at getting loan offerings at discounted prices, management fees or all applicable fees at discounted price. But beyond that, one of the things, again, we've started doing is we've listened to the woman's voice, and we've listened in terms of what we've done today, or the solution, Blue Blossom, that we've done. And the ask now is, how can Stanbic IBTC not only solution for women in her business capacity, but in her personal capacity? And we've gone to work taking that feedback to see how we can infuse and leverage on our group euphorization structure such that we can solution for the woman from cradle to grave. And that enables us leverage on all the various expertise and products houses or solution houses that we have in the organization today to be able to solution for the woman, not only in her financial, not only from a financial capacity, but even in the non-financial capacity, or things that matter to her, like lifestyle, wellness, education, capacity building, which are just a few of the things that today's woman is looking for.
IBTC for providing a product for according to Global Entrepreneurship Monitor, the highest number of women entrepreneurs in the world who are Nigerian women. And also that Nigerian women make up owners of MSMEs across the world, one of the highest, if not the highest in the world. Therefore, this is absolutely meeting the needs of perhaps one of the most important segments of society when it comes to small businesses in Nigeria. So thank you very much, Blue Blossom, and thank you for that offering. One more time, please, let's celebrate the commitment to meeting the needs of not just Stanbic IBTC women, but Nigerian women at large. Thank you. And now I'd like to introduce, to give her opening remarks, the chairperson of the Blue Women Network. We'd like to call her Madam Chair. Please let's make very welcome Omolara Oshinshoko.
I think it's 12:01. Good afternoon, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here today. To our highly esteemed keynote speaker, Madam Funke Okpeke, it's an honor and privilege to have you in our midst. To our very supportive board members who are joining us virtually, our Blue Women Network advisors, Sarah Govender and Margaret Neneba, our Group C, Stanbic IBTC Holdings, Demola Shogunle, C Bank, Wale Adeni, and indeed the entire leadership of Stanbic IBTC. We call them EXCO. Thank you for being here with us today and your leadership support in enabling the female workforce to achieve their career aspirations and to thrive. Our blue man, Oludi, you wear your cap so well, holding us by the hand and cheering us on. We're indeed grateful for your support. I would also like to acknowledge the past GovCo and EXCO members here with us of the Blue Women Network, and of course, every Blue woman physically here and joining us online. I'm so delighted to be speaking to such an inspiring and powerful group of women and Blue men. I know that every one of us have faced our own unique set of challenges in our lives, and I'm so proud to be standing here today surrounded by such strong and determined individuals. Today we'll be talking about something that is near and dear to my heart, equity. Equity is about ensuring that everyone has the opportunity required to succeed and that everyone is valued for their contributions. It's about breaking down barriers and creating an environment where everyone has a fair chance to pursue their dreams. We must also recognize that equity does not mean equality. Everyone is not starting from the same place. So we must strive to provide the resources and opportunities that will allow everyone to succeed. This is why it's so important that we stand together and embrace equity. We must work together to create a world where all women are given opportunities and support that is unique to their personal circumstances, and we're treated with the same level of respect and dignity. We're powerful when we work together. We know our individual strengths, and when we come together, we magnify that impact. We're living in a time of unprecedented access to information and opportunity. This should be an exciting prospect for us, but too often we're faced with a real lack of parity. For instance, globally, the gender gap, pay gap still exists. We must work to create an environment that is equitable and inclusive. This means building support systems and networks that will help us to succeed. It means challenging ourselves to take risks and speak up for what we believe in. We must take it upon ourselves to advocate for equity in our workplace and in our lives. It means standing up for each other and standing together where we see injustice or unfairness, having the courage to challenge status quo and push for change. It's about creating a more inclusive environment for everyone. Embracing equity requires a shift in mindset and a commitment to ongoing learning and improvement. Can I let you in on a secret? As a woman in the corporate world, and as Doc would say, a blue lady, I'm excited to work for an employer of choice who supports women deeply. Stanbic continues to embrace equity, clearly showing by the many opportunities available to everyone and the specially curated programs to aid professional growth and development. In today's highly competitive business environment, an equitable workplace is a key factor in helping the organization succeed. Studies have shown that companies that prioritize equity have greater employee engagement, greater productivity, better customer service. This leads to improved financial performance and increased profitability. As a blue woman, there's several steps we can take to fully embrace equity in the workplace. First, it's important to recognize and celebrate diversity in the workplace. This includes making sure that all voices are heard and respected, and you leverage on diverse viewpoints and experiences to make better outcomes. You should also ensure that everyone has access to the available resources unique to their developmental needs. Finally, encourage open communication and dialogue among team members. This can help to ensure that everyone's perspective are considered and that differences are embraced. We must actively engage in conversations and work together to create meaningful solutions that make an impact. By taking these steps, we can help create a workplace environment where everyone can thrive and contribute. Embracing equity in the workplace can help make the organization more successful and provide greater opportunities for everyone. To everyone present here and joining us virtually, I ask you take a stand today. Join me in this journey to embrace equity. Thank you.
A round of applause again for Madam Chair. You know, sometimes when you hear a speech, you want to behave yourself, and sometimes you want to, how like someone, whoop, and just like, yeah, I got that right, and then just snap your fingers to some deep nuggets being shared. Thank you. I think for me, it's just understanding that we are more powerful when we work together. And that's why it's so important that everyone comes on board on this train of embracing equity. So at the end, when she extended that invitation to us all to come along on this journey, I hope you've all boarded and are ready to go. Excellent. All right, next we'd like to hear a quick word from one of our advisors. Madam Chair did make reference to the BWN Blue Women Network advisors, and she will be sharing with us just a few words and a quick profile. Margaret Ninaba is Standard Bank Group's Chief Operating Officer, responsible for the technology, operations, real estate, brand and marketing, and future-ready capabilities. She assumed the role of COO in July 2022 after serving as Chief Executive Officer for the group's Client Solutions business since January 2021. Prior to this, Margaret was the Chief Executive of Standard Bank's Wealth Division, a business that has been recognized as Africa's best bank for wealth management by Euromoney and boasts the largest banker assurance arrangement on the African continent. It was also named top stockbroker in South Africa by Intellidex and recognized in Nigeria as the country's largest pension fund administrator and asset manager. Margaret has been with the group for 12 years. She's a member of the Women Executive 50 community and an active member of the International Women's Forum, where she focuses on looking after strategic alliances across Africa. She's part of the UNICEF Influential Women's Circle and the MasterCard Regional Advisory Board. With such an exemplary profile, please let's make very welcome virtually Margaret Ninaba.
Good day, Blue Women Network delegates, and thank you for allowing me an opportunity to share a brief message with you today. Delegates, and thank you for allowing me an opportunity to share a brief message with you today. What a special time it is for us to come together and celebrate women, especially after International Women's Day just a few weeks ago, under the banner of embracing equity. I'm heartened to know that the Big Blue is championing our remarkable women and that we are making progress on our women empowerment targets so ably led by our new chairman, Nku Nyembezi. As Sim, our chief executive, recently said, as we become more gender equal, we become a better business. We still have many strides to take in this regard, but I'm confident that our ambitious 2025 targets are possible and that we can do it if we show up as one SBG. Maya Angelou famously said, each time a woman stands up for herself, without knowing it and possibly without claiming it, she stands up for all women. In this room, we have you, women who are strong, not scared to be their authentic selves, always trying to find balance in everything they do, and greatly admired by so many women and men out there. I wish you all the very best for your conference. Remember, this is your opportunity to be present, to be in the moment, and to be so deliberate about the responsibility you have to have a positive influence. Be kind to yourselves and to others. You just never know what they are going through, and we need each one of us to be successful, for Standard Bank to be successful. I was having a tough day a few weeks ago, and my daughter sent me the image on your screen. She actually designed it for me, and it certainly warmed my heart. I hope it's got the same meaning for you too. Remember, have courage, be kind, always be grateful, and tell the truth. Thank you.
Margaret Ninaba, COO Standard Bank. And of course, for a number of people, the highlight of that speech would certainly be the beautiful artistic card on screen. And isn't it interesting that sometimes it's these little things that just brightens up an entire day. So you just might have had such a hectic week, and something, a little message here, a kind word there, is able to just light up your heart. And it's an encouragement for me that it's good to spread positive vibes, as her daughter encouraged her. So once in a while, take out time and send positive vibes to your fellow blue woman. Just say, oh, I see you're doing great. Or you look good today. I like your hair. Sometimes it's enough to just distress. So you can pick up your phone now, if you will, and send a blue woman a nice, encouraging text and just say that I think you're working so hard. I appreciate you. Well, I haven't said it today. Your shoes are amazing. Just send them something, sometimes out of the box, to just make their day or make their week. Thank you very much. Okay, now talking about inspirational women, as Margaret is, our keynote speaker, as we often do, or we do here at the Blue Women Network Conference, is a phenomenal woman. We have a formal citation where she'll be properly introduced. However, I must encourage you at this point to please listen. When I host conferences like this, I often say, listen to the words that are being spoken and the words that are not being spoken. The silent messages, some things, do a critical analysis of her speech as she's speaking, because she has a mountain and wealth of experience and her profile is staggering. We look forward to listening to her for the next few minutes, and I'm delighted to say that we will also have an opportunity to take questions at the end of her speech. So if there's anything burning in your heart, whether you're online or on site, you can write your question down and we will be able to squeeze in as many as possible. Please maximize this time. Dr. Shokunle said when he was speaking that you need a seat at the table. For some of us, you bring your own seat to the table. And I dare say that this is one of the things that our keynote speaker did. A pioneer, a trailblazer, a pace setter, a true woman who's embraced equity and is opening the door for other women as well to rise as well. So we have the e-citation, and then our keynote speaker will come on stage.
Funke Opeke is founder and CEO of Main One. Main One is West Africa's leading communication services and network solutions provider that built West Africa's first privately owned, open access 7,000 kilometer undersea high capacity cable submarine, a $240 million project that was completed in 2010. Main One also built West Africa's largest Tier 3 data center, MDXI's Lekki Data Center, a $40 million investment with a capacity for 600 racks. She's an experienced telecommunications executive who returned to Nigeria in 2005 as the Chief Technical Officer of MTN after a 20-year career in the United States. Prior to her return, she was the Executive Director of Verizon Communications Wholesale Division. After MTN, Funke Opeke advised Transcorp on the acquisition of Nitel and briefly served as the interim Chief Operating Officer post-acquisition of Nitel. She obtained a first degree in electrical engineering from Obafemi Awolowo University, Ile-Ife, and a master's degree in electrical engineering from Columbia University, New York. In 2008, she turned her engineer's eye towards the ocean, raised over $2 million in funding, and laid 4,400 miles of fiber optic cable from Nigeria to Portugal. The open access submarine, stretching from Portugal to Nigeria with landings in Accra and Lagos, marked the start of the data revolution. In the years that followed, Main One expanded into several other countries in West Africa. Following its acquisition in 2022, Main One now forms a part of Equinix, a US-based digital infrastructure company. She sits on several boards and has also held non-executive directorships at Main One Cable Company, Main Street Technologies, and Main Data, amongst others. She sits on the advisory board of Women in Successful Careers, WISCA, where she mentors other women for their professional development. Funke Opeke was named one of the world's top 50 women in tech in 2018 by Forbes, an attestation of her efforts in sparking the internet revolution that finally put Nigeria on the internet with the rest of the world. During the Data Cloud Europe conference in 2017, she was named one of the top 50 most significant persons in the economy in Europe, the Middle East, and Africa. She won the Business Leader of the Year award in 2018. Listed as one of the top 10 African women in ICT, she is also a recipient of the Harvard University Veritas Award for Excellence in ICT. In 2019, she chaired the Presidential Committee to develop Nigeria's National Broadband Plan for 2020 to 2025. In 2022, she was awarded the National Honors of Member of the Order of the Niger, MON, in recognition of her contribution to the rapid growth of technology in Nigeria. Ladies and gentlemen, Blue women, please give a resounding applause as we welcome to the podium Funke Opeke.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for that very flattering, warm welcome. Someone did quite a bit of research to put that together. To be honest, when I think of good morning to those also online, the board, members of the management team, your advisors, and certainly all the wonderful blue women and all our blue men with us in the room, and I do like that attire. When I think of Stanbic, as you know, I think of first in service to, because you are critical, or we are your critical digital infrastructure partners. And need I say, some of our execs can sit comfortably here today, and I can be here knowing that the team at Main One is doing everything we need to be doing to keep things running. And that's a relationship and partnership we really appreciate. Of course, next, when I reflect over the past year, and I think Stanbic were our advisors in the sale of their shares by our founding shareholders to Equinix, which was mentioned in the introduction. So clearly, this is a team that I know very well and work well with. And in confirmation of what you said, when I reflect back over that Stanbic journey, there have been women playing leadership roles in our conversation every step of the way. In fact, I got an email from one of those women around 11 p.m. last night when I was putting finishing touches to what am I gonna say? And I thought, is she gonna ask me about the presentation tomorrow? And we were just chit-chatting and catching up and talking about our kids, which is really a part of women in the workplace and work-life balance and all the things that are important to us. And then we talked about setting some time to catch up. So it's really a pleasure to be here with all of you to celebrate this 9th Blue Women Conference, and congratulations to the management and the leadership for all the great strides. And I know there's even more to come for the Blue Women of Stanbic. Now, you know, when I was invited to speak, I felt, okay, some of them know the story because they did this transaction and they know Main One. But when we think about the theme for International Women's Day 2023 and what it means to me personally and what I have to share, I think in that embracing equity, I can talk about how I have embraced equity. And I think perhaps that's the best story that I have to share. So my brief talk today is really telling that story of how I have been able to take advantage of the fair opportunities that I have been given and my journey, which led to the founding and the growth of Main One into the company that it is today. Next slide, please. So the Main One story actually starts from when I came back to Nigeria in 2005. And I came back to Nigeria after having pursued graduate education in electrical engineering in the United States. I went from OAU after my youth service to Columbia University and got a master's in electrical engineering. And then I worked in the US. It was probably the first generation. There was a lot of outward immigration from Nigeria. And I just stayed back after my degree and worked in the United States for 24 years. It was an opportunity for me to add value. So I wanted to, after so many years in the US, I wanted to come back. You felt, okay, yes, I've done this. I was a director, but then you look back at Africa and some of the challenges, and I felt I could do more meaningful work. And for the first time, because liberalization had taken place, you started having the kind of networks that were applying the technology that I had gained expertise on in the United States. So I wanted to come back to add value in a space where I had built my career and I had something to give. So like a lot of returnees, I came back. I thought you just, wave a magic wand and everything would be, cured, and we will have wonderful networks and services, and everybody would be able to access those services. But you find that there's so many underlying issues and complex issues. Came back with MTN. I exited to really try to address the underlying infrastructure issue, which of course we're still plagued with today, although we've made considerable progress. And so privatizing NITEL seemed like a good opportunity to go help build that underlying infrastructure, because if you look across countries in the world, incumbent telephone companies have evolved to play a key part of their infrastructure. Everyone wanted internet access. My son wanted internet access. Sitting at NITEL, we had the rights to the only cable landing in Nigeria, but we could not deliver internet services, and that was something I knew something about. So that was my opportunity, my level playing field where I could apply my skills. It did not go as well. And then I had to exit NITEL. The management team left, and I thought, what next? And you talk about some things here in your values when you talked about blue women, professionalism, excellence. I had the opportunity to have worked in that experience with Mr. Foladiola, and he says, oh, you have to do something that reflects your values. You're going to struggle coming back to Nigeria if you don't have that. Go create something, I'll help you. And I decided, well, if I'm going to create something, I should address the internet infrastructure gap that I failed to fix at NITEL. So, a lot of people said, how did you dream of building this submarine cable? It was not a big bolt of lightning. It was based on those informed experiences and what I had seen in the United States and grabbing the opportunity when it presented itself. So, next slide. So how did I get it done? Certainly a journey of perseverance, or what you would otherwise call strength of mind. It helps if you're well prepared. So as women in the workplace, and as we're talking about embracing equity, it's one thing to have that fair and balanced environment in which you can thrive, but you also have to come to the table prepared. So I was prepared. I was not naive, certainly at this time in my career. I had some savings to say I wanted to start a business, and for people to give me a lot of money and have confidence, I needed to put my own very, very small widow's mite, because when people tell the story of Main One, they tell it like, oh, it's her money. It wasn't my money, but I had to spend my small money first so that the investors knew that they could count on me and I was truly committed to what I was going to do. Of course, I had relevant experience. I had a network in Nigeria and in the US that provided access to skills, suppliers, and investors. So Blue Women Network, I guess that's the beginning, but also as women, extending beyond those networks in our workplaces, in our communities, are really critical parts of the journey. When I raised the first money that I used to invest in Main One, it was a community around me, friends and family, that I raised that from, and that included women I had worked with, women I had met. During the short time I returned to Nigeria. So that's just the importance of building these networks and relationship. I had credibility to pitch my plan. I had circumstances that gave me personal flexibility, and I was prepared to do what it takes. I always say the first money I raised, which was a sum of $3 million, was the most significant money, even though before the company went into operation, we raised and needed to raise $240 million. But after raising that first $3 million, it was a point of no return, because I felt if we did not raise the 240, if we did not build the submarine cable, then I could not give the people who had counted on me, my friends, my family, the founding investors, I could not give them their money back. And it's something about, a promise and so holding on and delivering on that promise. Next slide. For us, and we're suddenly at a time also where we're witnessing this huge immigration. And so when we're talking about embracing equity, how do you embrace equity in this crazy environment? There's still a lot of opportunity here. I think we all have choices. Nigerians all have choices to make in terms of the opportunities available to us. But I have to be honest, the same infrastructure opportunity was not available to me in the US. The society is just more mature. And it wasn't, in that instance, it's not even about the gender. It's just about the stage of development and the needs and demands that were viable. I was offered support and I grabbed it. I do mention some of my mentors, friends and family, other professionals I had worked with, who were the ones who were writing those initial checks for that $3 million to get the business started. I was given access to opportunity, so I had to work hard. I mean, really, really hard to achieve the results and get the support of people like the African Development Bank, who said, go develop a feasibility plan and we'll support you. And people like Mr. Afola Adeola, who worked with me as I developed the plan, but it wasn't, people say, okay, you just go and you get the money. No. I had to develop a plan. I had to pitch the plan. I had to provide a roadmap for how the investors were going to get the money back before anyone started writing a check. So how did I get here? How did I get to the point where I even had that opportunity to put a plan together to request at the first instance, $3 million, which was the seed round, to raising $240 million. And how did I navigate this journey as a woman in tech? I started early. I studied electrical engineering. I was the only female in my electrical engineering class at Obafemi Awolowo University. As a woman, and then I went to graduate school, as I mentioned, in the US. We had more women in my class, in my graduate class at Columbia. And then I started a professional career. I must say, in my career and in the telecommunications industry and in the ICT industry in the US, I had a lot of role models of women in leadership positions. And that was really important for me to aspire and have something I felt I could do that as well. Someday, I would like to be like Virginia. Someday, I would like to be like. And then I had male and female mentors who guided and sponsored me along. And my female mentors played a particular role, because sometimes, as women, we consider the issues of how we're perceived in the workplace, how we're measured, issues of fairness and equity. And senior women could help me with the kind of reading the tea leaves, the cultural interpretations, and also give me very honest feedback about how I needed to conduct myself, what I needed to pay attention to. So what was fair and what was perhaps not so fair and had a gender lens, and how I should approach those issues. But that was really important for me as I grew in my career, because sometimes we also could fall behind this, it's not fair, and throw the baby out with the bathwater. They didn't allow me to do that. They said, no. Okay, maybe this little thing is not very nice or very fair, but let's focus on these things that are wonderful and going well and represent a path to further growth. And you need to double down on those and just kind of manage that situation and keep going on your journey. I also had sponsors, people who would nominate me for positions. You were talking about Stanbic and the role you play for them. And so I had people in my career who would tap me on the shoulder and said, you can do that project. Why don't you come on that team? And it's really important. Someone was asking me the other day, a woman, and said, I'm doing a great job. What can I do? How do I get a sponsor? I said, well, when that executive tells you you're doing a great job, say, well, next time you have a wonderful project, would you consider nominating me to be on the project team? Or how can I add more value? I would like to do more if that is truly your aspiration. And one thing about tech that I like, and I promote tech careers for women, is that technology is very result-oriented. The application either works or it doesn't work. The network either transmits or it doesn't transmit. You can measure the error rate. It's not subjective. It's not someone saying, I don't like the way she said it, or I don't like the way she, came into the room or something. It's more about tangible, objective deliverables. And I really encourage women who shy away from technology careers that indeed we should be embracing technology careers because of the freedom it gives us in how we present ourselves, and then the freedom also in terms of workplace presence, especially in this day where we're talking about work from home, work remotely. Women need time off, they need to manage that. Make your contribution, make a solid contribution. If you take a break, come back, make sure you make a contribution. And if you do that, then indeed the fair opportunities that you're presented with will continue to yield results. Next slide, how to find the courage. Am I 2 slides ahead? So how to find the courage to go on it. Next slide. To go all in. How did I kind of do this? People still say 240 million. One, I had confidence in a good outcome. I was thinking long term and I was looking at the big picture. And there's no way you look at the big picture. Nigeria is over 200 million population today. I don't know, the statistics vary, but 60 to 80% of that population under 30 or 35. There is tremendous opportunity in terms of digital technology in this environment. I tend to be someone who doesn't look back, so I can't tell you how many mistakes I've made along the way, but I kind of do the best I can. If it's something I can remedy, you have to shrug your shoulders and you have to move on. I count my blessings, just be grateful at each step of the way for what I have. And certainly when we look in our environment, when we look across Africa, just the fact that we're in this room says we are privileged. And I do not take that for granted. I listened to the advisor, and she talked about courage and being kind and telling the truth. Sometimes it's about just going back to basics, right? Does it add value? Is it fair? Is it needed? Can you deliver? Difficult does not mean impossible. Seek advice, give it time, get help. and celebrate the small successes along the way. The call to action, I believe, for us women, as we celebrate International Women's Day, Women in the Blue Women's Network, what can we do? How do we embrace equity to create a more equal world for women? I think the very first thing when I think of the UN theme for this year is digital. So using innovation and technology to create equity, is we can do that by encouraging more girls and women to study science, technology, and mathematics. When young women have the skills, they're more able, better prepared to participate in the digital world that we have exploding around us today. It doesn't mean if you don't study STEM that you cannot partake, but clearly when we think of the future of work and the jobs that are going to be created, having the skills paves the way for more easy and direct participation. And oh, by the way, the work is not all nuts and bolts, sitting in a room, in a dark room, coding endlessly and not having the opportunity to interact with anyone. I don't think I need to tell Dr. Shogunle anything about creating inclusive work environments, since he taught that at Harvard already. So, I believe that everyone here understands that. And also all the statistics show that businesses that are more inclusive, both from a gender and an ethnic standpoint, do get better results. So it's a bottom line issue. It's just not a nice to have issue. Promote female role models in leadership and technology. Again, check, check. So congratulations, Stanbic. As I mentioned, anytime I'm interacting with Stanbic, there are women on the leadership team that I am working with. And so, but continuing to promote that even beyond your network, and for such a high performing organization, having this example of an inclusive workplace that you can model to other organizations creates a better vision of what our society indeed could be. And finally, is looking at government policies that promote gender equality in education, employment, and technology. So the story of Main One, and my journey, one of grit and determination. Sometimes when I look back, I said, how did I do that? Am I really sure I went out to raise $240 million? Was I crazy? But a lot of teamwork and a lot of support and a very strong network based on, you know, very simple values. I really liked what your advisor said. I think I got 3 of them down. Courage, be kind, tell the truth, you know, consistently living with those kind of values and taking it on a day-to-day basis. Next slide. I think in closing, I just thought of 2 quotes that really speak to me personally. That one, people of accomplishment rarely sit back and let things happen to them. They go out and happen to things. And I think as women in the 21st century, women in the Blue Network, embracing equity is about making things happen, because I do think we have an environment that fosters that inclusion and equity already, and we have to embrace it in order to achieve equality. And also, I like this quote personally because it says, no matter what happens today, the sun is going to rise again tomorrow and you have another chance. So delighted to be with you this afternoon. Embracing equity for women. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Wasn't that just phenomenal? Fantastic. Thank you for giving us a snippet of your journey and detailing some of the lessons you've learned along the way. A number of things we picked up. Please, may you please take your seat? Would like to ask some questions, and this is open to everyone here and on site. Thank you. I'll take my seat here. So, a few things while you spoke stood out for me, and thank you very much. We expected brilliance, and of course, it was absolutely brilliant. Thank you, ma'am. One of the things, some of the things you've talked about, especially when we talk about women in the workplace and doing sometimes what we refer to as the impossible. You talk about mentors, the place for mentors and sponsors. And for me, that stood out for me because sometimes we wonder if it's possible to break those ceilings, do those things, without having someone to hold your hand. We have a network here and an opportunity for staff members to also see mentors. What's your take in terms of how did that impact your career?
Well, as I said, female role models, female mentors, there's a lot more discussion of mentorship today, and I see people treat it very formally, so I want a mentoring relationship with you. Will you mentor me? But to be honest, I don't even know that at this stage of my career that I've had what I would call a formal, will you mentor me, I will mentor you. It's been more of finding people who are senior, who have visibility in terms of what I'm doing, who either through interaction or work know and have shown a little bit of interest in me, and my taking the initiative to go cultivate that, to say, can we have lunch? I'd like 15 minutes on your calendar, or maybe sometimes just at the end of the meeting, when we still had a lot of physical meetings, walking up to them and saying something, and just like you said also, or complimenting them on what they've achieved, and indicating that you would like to learn from their experience. And so it's not being structured, but it's being through cultivating those relationships. But there is relationship and there is continuity, because for someone to really help you or guide you, they need to know you. So you start investing time and it grows, and that's been what it is. And the other one is sponsorship. Ensuring that people who are in a position to make decisions about your career or opportunities you want to pursue know one of your interest, but perhaps more important than the interest, know of your capacity, right? Because a lot of people say, I want to do this, I want to do that, but are you truly qualified? And if you're not, what do you need to do to get qualified? And sometimes it's that person who's going to tell you, go do this, and then you'll be better qualified for this, because I know this is what you want to do. So I think both are important for people trying to grow their careers. And I heard something at a women's forum last week that I really liked. It said, knowledge follows you. When you learn something or you acquire a skill, even in the workplace, even if you want to do your own business, you're not leaving that knowledge behind with the organization. So I would say, I've always been curious and kind of want to lean in. So, and I really like Sheryl Sandberg's book, Lean In. So I think for women who are trying to embrace equity, leaning in to find mentors or just guidance for the journey, and also sponsors, ensuring people who are in a position to make those decisions know of your interest and your capacity.
Brilliant, thank you very much. I have two more questions. I'll make it very brief so that we can give an opportunity. If you'd like to ask a question, I believe that we can raise our hands and then we'll hand over the microphone to you. Okay, I see hands already. But two things you said I'd like to just draw you back to expound on. The first was you spoke about coming to the table prepared and grabbing opportunities. What was that like for you? what was your preparation? Because you skipped it, but that is a key part of who you are, who you emerged to be. And then the second part is on stereotypes and profiling, especially as often, I'm sure when you started, you're often the only woman in the room or in the minority. You talked about being the only student in your class in elect engineering at OAU. Were there any biases you had to challenge? How did you do that? Were there any roles you felt you needed to fit into as a woman in the workplace?
Okay, so the first one was about preparation. Okay, so let's talk about preparation and maybe preparation for main one. So I talked about raising the initial money to get the first set of investors in the company. I needed to do a business plan. So people just think, oh, friends and family, and when you want to start a business, you just roll up to them and how much can you give me? No. I actually hired financial advisors. I hired consulting companies with my own money to provide data so we could put together a professional business plan. Now, this was, of course, informed by my 20 plus years professional experience of what it takes to do a project of that nature. Depending on what it is, the specific requirements could be different, but it was packaging that and communicating that knowledge so that the person sitting across the table could have confidence in what I was bringing forward. So that is what preparation means to me, having acquired the skills, the knowledge, the mastery of what I was intending to do. And then you talk about stereotypes. You'll hear me talk a lot about results and engineering. And for me personally, as a woman, I think that has been my, what I've leaned into is you will always find people who want to be condescending or want to diminish the value you could bring. But again, my personal strategy is, let the results speak, let my knowledge that I'm going to provide, let my understanding of the issues speak. And for people who are so far biased that it's not going to have an impact, to be honest, you need to move away from that. One thing I learned a lot from my mentors. One thing I learned from one of my mentors was, other than government and laws, there's absolutely nothing that you cannot work around. So don't feel like, my son says, you have to die on that hill. Don't feel like you have to die on that hill. If it's a hill where it's just not gender friendly, or people that I see, the bias quota is just so high, I generally quickly shy away and go look for more fertile ground to do business. I don't have to win every battle, but I want to win the war.
Excellent, thank you. Thank you very much. You don't have to win every battle, but you can win the war. Excellent. All right, I saw a hand there, yes. We can take a round of 3 questions so we can move things on quickly if we do have 3 people who would like to answer or ask a question at once.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for that very inspiring speech. A thread throughout your story is about being bold. You were bold on countless different occasions, moving to Nigeria, joining the company, raising the funds, and starting the business. And now I'm selling it on and it becoming part of Equinix. Now, sitting here, being really inspired by this, I just think, what is planned for the next 5-10 years? Because if this has been done so far, really curious to see what's next. Thank you.
Well, what's next is first ensuring that Equinix is successful. in their entry into Africa. I wouldn't want the main one story to end there. So I have a sense of duty to my team, to our partners and customers who rely on us for critical services, to Equinix, who came into Africa thinking this was a good platform for them to grow, to ensure that that is achieved. And I believe once I've done that, then I will retire. I want to write a book. Most people who are close to me know I want to write a book. I may want to do some teaching and advising, but I'd like to retire and not have, you talked about starting at 7 a.m. and going till you got here. Yeah, not having that constant, pressure to ensure everything is working. So I think I've tried, yeah.
Yes. Thank you. Do we have any other question? I was going to say I have some, but please, I'll give you the right of first refusal.
Thank you very much. I want to piggyback on the question on the mentorship that was asked earlier on. And you specifically mentioned that you had both male and female mentors. And I would really like to know if there was anything spice that the male mentors brought into the conversations with them that actually added to your growth.
I don't know. I don't know if I will call it spice. I think with my male mentors, it was more about skill, opportunity, projects, more specific things. Okay, you've done product management. How about, customer management? So kind of, how do you round out your skill set as you kind of climb up the management ladder? For my female mentors, it wasn't that they didn't do that, but then we had a more open relationships. I would say, oh, I was expecting to get promoted. I didn't all the guys got promoted. Well, it's not quite like that. You need to go do this, this, and this. And, so it was just more the nature of the conversations and the situations were a little different. But, and maybe with the women I had just more, we could talk about more personal things openly.
Thank you. We have time for just one or two more questions at the very highest. Please, one more. Thank you.
Okay, good afternoon. Very, very insightful presentation, by the way, and then it's very inspiring. One of the things I'd like to ask is that, was there any role that your failures played in getting to where you are today? Because I know that one of the things I observe is women try to put themselves out there and then they hit one failure and then they feel like, oh my God, I shouldn't have done it in the first place. And then I just want to know, how exactly did you play in like resilience in getting to where you are? Has it always been good all the way? Or you just had things working well? Are there specific failures that you experienced, and how did you overcome that to get to where you are today?
Okay, thank you. You heard me just talk about not getting promoted, or Nigel not working out. And I said in the presentation, I don't know if it's a personal attribute but I think part of it is also just training and self-development along the way that I have had. You can't turn back the clock, so not looking back and not letting those failure situations define me. Okay, that didn't work out, but it doesn't mean the rest or other things cannot work out. So that's generally my attitude. And, every day, and maybe not, just thinking too much of myself, but every day we have failures, right? From little things. I should have said hi. I should have been nicer. You talked about paying a compliment. I should have paid a compliment to Dr. Shogunle for his nice blue outfit, but I didn't do that. I should have thanked Funke more sweetly when I came in. I should have gotten up and go to Mr. Dini and all those things. You could build it and get really bogged down, even sometimes with small things that have happened And you know, but all you can do really, when you think about it, is what you can do going forward. So for me, that has been, I can tell you, yes, I have had failures. I mean, my career was not all one of, you know, every boss loved me and every boss wanted to promote me and supported me. But, you know, for each one that didn't work out, there was someone saying, I think you're great, come onto my team. And if that's not working out for you over there, you can try something else. And I worked hard to ensure that the confidence that they had in me was not disappointed, not taken for granted, to meet or exceed their expectations. And then that also gave me the platform to move on. So I would say, yes, failure is a part of life. We will have failures, but how we deal with those failures, not wallowing in it. Learn whatever there is to learn, suffer whatever there is to suffer, and move on.
Failure is a part of life. Thank you so much. I must touch on family life before we wrap up this conversation. And in terms of just being able, I know we ask this question a lot when we see women achievers, so because it's a real concern for a number of women in the workplace. That balance first. And then when we talk about embracing equity, the first place you learn about equity or the lack of is in the home. So as a mother, some people are concerned as to how do I promote equity even amongst my children as a woman in the workplace. And I think I can just add to that, as a female boss, how to promote equity in the workplace as a female boss.
Okay, I mean, there's a lot there. Work-life balance, promoting equity as a female boss. You know, maybe it's too simple. You've got to focus on results, you know. So I have both women and men working on my team, different leadership styles, but are they accountable for the results? So if you, I mean, and you have to be, maybe because I'm a woman, you have to be objective, because you could let it get in your way. But I think there was that question, is it fair? Is it true? So there's a fact that, you know, there are just all kinds of things we can do, you know, what someone looks like, you know, their background, just their social context, you know, their religion, you know, there are things, you know, in Nigeria that you throw in tribal differences, you know, all those things. Yeah, I think when, as in leadership, one, you have to know that the mix of, and the diversity, that's what we're talking of, the ideas of the perspectives actually helps you with balance. It models the world around you as a business that you have to deal with, and you don't want to exclude a portion of the world from your target customer base or audience that you want to speak to. So you want that to be fully engaged as well. So that's in terms of managing teams, and just really, I mean, I think that's what equity means. You know, it's not that we're all going to be the same, but giving everyone a fair opportunity to achieve the vision and the results. And if they're able to do that, then the issues of personality, gender, religion, race, depending where you're coming from, should be secondary. In terms of work-life balance and families, yes, it is a challenge, because indeed women still have, still take on, and though it's a world we live in, more of the responsibility for the home and for managing children, and just all it takes to raise a child. You know, there's, and I say to people, it's the reality of it. You know, I say to some of my young mothers today, go home. So and so is waiting for you. You need to go help her with homework or help her with homework. It is a reality, stages of our lives. Does it mean that person cannot achieve results? No. And I know that when my son was young, I would put him to bed. And I still have that habit till today. I generally work late into the night because I developed that habit when my son was young because I would spend the early hours of the evening with him. And then after he goes to bed, we'll pull out the laptop and then the work starts getting ready for the next day. So I think we all need to devise, it's real. First, it's real. If you are a parent and you have those domestic responsibilities that you need to figure out how to balance things out. There may be some years that it's going to be difficult, and I think you just need to acknowledge and lean into that. But also, when you have the freedom and the flexibility, and they're in school, or you need to get help because it takes a village, so that you can lean in and do what you want to do for work, then you do that. And that's how you achieve that balance. I don't know that there's any special formula or equation, or that there's any workplace that has the rule book that makes it just magically happen. I think it's something you have to create for yourself.
Thank you very much. Before I let you go, I want to read some comments on YouTube because we have a vibrant, the energy and the participation online is fantastic. So just to read a few things some people have said, not questions, but just expressing themselves. There's absolutely nothing that you cannot work around. Question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark. I need to emphasize that. From Jane Abiola. Jane also says, don't die on that hill. That's a hashtag. You can quote that. Don't die on that hill. And then Chiso Mogona says, you're delivering as usual. It's always a pleasure to listen to you speak. SL Tonga says, no looking back, just keep moving despite failures. I believe someone needs to hear that because for women, sometimes we beat ourselves up a little extra when it comes to our failures. Thank you so much. A number of them have said it's awesome, inspirational. I'm sure we'll have time for a formal feedback. But because it's a women's event, I need to ask you on a lighter note, what do you do for fun? How do you relax?
I like to travel. I love theater. I love art. I like yoga. Music. I'm not giving up. I like to read. Family.
Thank you very much.
Sure.
A round of applause, please, for Madam Opeke. A fantastic time. And that part was very important so that we have work-life balance. You work and you also play. Thank you so much, Madam. Fantastic. Thank you. Now, I'd like to please ask, if you don't mind, Madam Opeke, for pictures. And whilst we're getting ready for pictures, might please ask our keynote speaker to kindly come to the podium for pictures. And Dr. Shogule, please. Wale, please join them on stage. Thank you. Madam Chair. Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. I believe we'll have time for more pictures at the end of the conference, but thank you. That was really important to do. So to give a proper thank you, to express just a little of our gratitude, because we couldn't possibly fully express it for your time. I'd like to invite to give an appreciation for our keynote speaker, Head RCS Capital Management, Tosin Leye Odeyemi.
Thank you, Ayo. On behalf of the board and management at Stanbic IBTC and the entire Blue Women Network, I wish to express our sincere appreciation for an awesome and enlightening time with you, Madam Funke Okpeke. This topic, embracing equity, comes at a crucial time in our lives where we see technology empowering things that we have hitherto deemed impossible. We are inspired by your embracing equity story, how your personal need inspired you to take steps that have since made history, how you did not give up at the first try. As leaders, we know that understanding the unique circumstances of our team members will ensure we support them appropriately. Thank you for giving us a glimpse into the window of your amazing achievements. We are truly inspired and thankful for the gift of your time. Please accept our sincere appreciation for that outstanding presentation. It was interesting to hear about your perseverance and the strength of your mind, credibility, personal flexibility, and grit. Amazing ingredients for success. We are intrigued by the possibilities that have been set before us. And we have learned to take support when it is offered, to grab it, and to be careful not to abuse it. We know that difficult does not mean impossible, and we shouldn't look back. Thank you for a memorable time and for your valuable contribution. We're truly grateful. Thank you, Ma.
Thank you so much, Tosin Leye Odeyemi, Head RCS Capital Management. Thank you for expressing our gratitude and conveying it so excellently. Thank you. Next, we'd like to watch a very short video. So I think this has become our tradition at the Blue Women Network Conference, where we showcase some of our employees at Stanbic IBTC with a special spoken word piece. So please sit back and enjoy.
All people of the world, let us strive for equity. Giving equal opportunities is no longer enough,
but giving opportunities as needed to achieve an equal outcome.
Equality is the goal, equity is the how.
So let us stand up for those with less privilege.
Let us call out gender stereotypes.
Let us call out discrimination.
Let us draw attention to bias.
Let us draw strength from our diversity.
Let us forge an inclusive world where the rights and needs of all can be respected and everyone can thrive.
We invite you to speak up for what is right, creating the future that is bright.
Supporting those who are marginalized.
We invite you to stand for equity, no longer accepting inequity.
We embrace equity.
The fantastic Stanbic IBTC staff members. It is excellent to see them present at today's conference, and it's both the blue men and blue women in that video. And at the end of the day, the strong message being passed is to embrace equity. Now, Madam Okpeke did that when she came on stage, and we haven't done that. I was saving it till the very end, but having watched that video, since we all couldn't be featured in that video, I believe we can all do the sign for this year. We embrace equity. Thank you. Please take that picture. Very important. Thank you very much. Absolutely, we embrace equity. All right, so another highlight of our annual conference for the Blue Women Network is the unveiling of our annual magazine. Yes. And from the echoes of yeses I hear in the hall, it is one that we're certainly proud of, and we cannot wait to unveil, showcase, and just let you see what we have up for this year. And to unveil, it's an honor to invite on stage. He'll be leading this, he'll be chairmaning, if I can use that word, the chairman of this particular. In Nigeria, we have chairmen for everything. The chairman of this book launch, then the chairman to oversee the road network, everything chairman. So the chairman for this particular segment is Wole Adeniyi, Chief Executive, Stanbic IBTC Bank.
Thank you, and good afternoon, everyone. And thank you for joining us today for this unveiling of this Blue Women e-magazine. I just want to celebrate somebody again today. All the time when we gather, and since we started here, she's kept us all enthused for the past 1 hour, 30 minutes, getting to 2 hours, and that is Ayo. Please, let's celebrate her. She's always showing up for us. Around 10:30, I left building 909 and came to the Carrington for a meeting before this event. And there on Arise TV, I look at the program, I saw her name there. And I said, and it was a live program. And I said, how is he going to make it to this program? So I was expecting to see another person here, but she's still here. Please, let's celebrate her. It just talks about the power of women in terms of multitasking. Our guest keynote speaker actually said it. The women can do many things at the same time. So we celebrate you, Ayo. The magazine that we are going to launch today basically celebrate our women. Celebrate their achievement, celebrate their talent, celebrate their stories. This magazine that we are launching today also empowers women. It provides a platform to share their stories, provide a platform for insight about their life and successes and challenge. This magazine we are launching today provides a space for women to come together in a safe arena to share a lot of their experience. So this magazine we are launching today is something that everybody, when you have a copy of it digitally, and I love what the theme for this year's women's stuff is on digitization, and actually we are launching it digitally. It's something when you have a copy of it, it celebrates women generally. So in order to do this launch together, and I would like to thank those people. For you to put a magazine together, it's a countless hours of labor for you to get the content right, to get all the articles right, to get all the interviews. Please let's celebrate all the people that put it together. So I'd like to, with great pleasure, I'd like to bring on stage some people. I'd like to bring in first my boss, the father of the Blue Women, Dr. Demola Shogunle, CE, Stanbic IBTC Holdings. Yes, I work for him. They call me CE. That CE is Chief Errand to Dr. Shogunle. CE, Chief Errand. All board member present, there is none one. I know they are joining us live. I'd like to bring in, and I can say a lot about our keynote speaker. Definitely a pioneer of that platform, and we were also a pioneer in actually being the first, I think we're the first, I think Union and ourselves, basically. I know Union was in the old building, then we came into the new building. We first put our servers in that, and it has been a very, we needed a first-class platform facility, and we got it in Men 1. And we should talk about service. When she saw me, I said, well, hope everything is. I've not called her in years because everything is safe. So please join us, Mrs. Okeke. There's only one Madam Chair today. Let's bring forth our BWN Chairperson, Lara Oshushoko. We'd like to bring to this podium as well the ever ready, women conscious, women leading our country head of people and culture, Funke Amobi. Please, let's celebrate that. Please, you are not women, you are known to celebrate people. Yeah. And finally, our head of brand and marketing, Bridget. They are going to join us. Okay. Yeah, some powers that be. Please, Oludi, join. The only man in the room. So he's going to join us to launch this magazine. The only thing, and I'll tell you at the end about, I was in a function yesterday, Schlumberger, 70th year, and the guy that finished speaking, and I just see the women in the room there. So the guy finished with 4 Bs. 4 Bs. He said they are bold. All our women are bold. They are beautiful. They are bright. And they are blue.
Nobody V-ball like me.
Easy to flex is a must. And of course, you know everything's on me. Everywhere I be VIP. Nobody can do it like me.
When you be no send nobody. When you insurance cover me. When you be no send nobody. Waiting I they feel like the bad guys that I mean that in real life. That's right, that is ginger to chill like 7 days in a week. I beg of you, don't ask why. Okay now, the world that you see is my own playground. I got it locked and there's no way out. So the party don't go pop if I know they're around. I do to the boss when you come across it. 35 G like me. For the game I be MVP. Nobody V-ball like me.
Easy to flex is a must. And of course, you know everything's on me. Everywhere I be. Nobody can do it like me.
Can you send nobody? Insurance cover me. Can you send nobody? Insurance cover me. You know what it look like? We put the good in the good life. Right so late, and I look twice. Not because I look nice, but because I'm covered and I look nice. So brother, that's a look, right? As the money don't choke, I put my team on. Now we all making the killing the cheese long. You can never be scared when you Stanbic IBTC shirt. I do believe us when you come across it. 35 G like me. For the game I be MVP. Nobody V-ball like me.
Easy to flex is a must. And of course, you know everything's on me. Everywhere I be VIP. Nobody can do it like me.
When you send nobody. When you insurance cover me. When you send nobody. When you insurance cover me. Send nobody. Ever since I started rolling with Stanbic IBTC insurance life has been nothing but sugar and spice, cool and nice. Yes, don't be like to make the right move. I don't need a map, I got the right tools. I think my confidence is quite huge, and is everybody feeling my cool? Did you see the gang? The gang, you go have his own money with the best friend. They call the shots like bang bang, and I don't round for the girlies and the men. Somebody, just all that sugar. I know that you're Stanbic IBTC insurance, baby.
And these are the cover ladies of the Stanbic IBTC BWN Magazine 2023, live in the flesh. So please include on your CV cover lady. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, presenting the Blue Women Network magazine for 2023, Embrace Equity. And that was a mother of all revelations. It was phenomenal. That deserves a chairman on its own. That's unveiling. Well, fans, please can we celebrate the team? This was really extra special. And thank you, Wole Adeniyi, for helping us to chair this occasion. Thank you so much for, and also, of course, Dr. Shogunle and Madam Okpekwe for coming to help us to unveil. Thank you. And Madam Chair, thank you very much. Okay, we're gradually coming to the end of today's conference. I'm sure you wish it wouldn't end, but we have to close at this point. We had to go to work. But the DJ, please stay a bit extra. We'll just take a bit of time because some people didn't want to leave. Bridget was all here to, to continue dancing and we just want to continue. But to give the closing remarks at this time, I'd like to invite the country head, People and Culture, Stanbic IBTC Holdings PLC, Funke Amobi.
Good afternoon, Blue Women. Please do allow me to stand on existing protocol, already excellently laid out. How do you close a program like this? But close we must. Go back to work we must. Let me begin by expressing my thanks to Madam Funke Okpeke. You can put your hands together again. Thank you very much, Madam. Thank you, and thank you. At some point, I said to Oludi, she's provoking me because she really provoked us to bring the best versions of ourselves into everything that we do. Thank you for spending so much time with us today, Ma. She had to create a special time in her diary to accommodate our request, and we are grateful. Thank you, Ma. I'm going to take my appreciation to our Chief Executive, Stanbic IBTC Holdings PLC, and the sponsor of the Blue Women Network. Doc, we are grateful. You know what you see today got transformed in its design, and the planning committee, they're laughing. We just went to Doc just last week to go and present what today would look like to him. And in that 30 minutes meeting, Doc changed the view. He changed the packaging. He redesigned the whole thing, and he backed it with a budget. I said he backed it with a budget. You're not clapping. What you see today is just one of the several evidence that we have at Stanbic IBTC of the exceptional support we have for women in the workplace and growing women into leadership. Doc, we're very grateful. Wole, we thank you so much for always being the chief errand boy to Dr. Shogunle in ensuring that we embrace equity at all times across people and culture processes. My deepest thanks goes to all Blue Women for the time you have taken to attend today's event. I know we have all learned, and I'll come to that. Thank you so much for choosing Stanbic IBTC. Thank you for deciding that Stanbic would go the journey with you in your careers. We are particularly grateful for that. I'd like to thank our cover ladies and gentlemen. By the way, the gentleman is in the north, is in Borno, Maiduguri specifically. And all those women are in different parts of the business. You know them in the east, the south, in Lagos, and they all coordinated together to see the perfection that you have in the magazine. Please take time to read the magazine. You read their lovely, lovely equity stories. They're sharing so much there. I trust that today our eyes, our ears, our hearts have heard and felt inspired by the really rich words of wisdom and conversations that our keynote speakers shared today. We've certainly learned a lot, and I trust also we've unlearned, and we are inspired to bring the best versions of ourselves to the workplace and make a difference in our respective careers, starting from your own corner. Now is the time to fulfill your career aspirations. I heard our keynote speaker call out the action onto digital careers. And I know that the Blue Women will rise up to that call. We'd like to see more women in STEM. We'd like to see more women transiting into IT. And it doesn't matter the stage of your career, it is certainly possible for all I heard today. Now is the time to close that deal. Now is the time to be a thought leader in your area. Now is the time to break all the barriers. There's certainly no limits to what we can achieve as women. I'd like to thank the marketing team. Put your hands together for our branded marketing team members. They had clear instruction to ensure that this tent is cool. That was a clear instruction from Doc. Ensure the tent in the sun is cool. Did you hear that instruction? And we're grateful that that has come to pass. And I'd like to leave with these final words. Choose to give others permission to shine their lights by simply letting your light shine in Stanbic IBTC. Let us work for a stronger Stanbic IBTC, a better future for all of us as we continue to embrace equity. And finally, thank you for being a part of 2023 and the 9th BWN Annual Conference. Thank you.
Yes, photos. Thank you so much, Funke Amobi, Country Head, People and Culture, Stanbic IBTC Holdings PLC. Fantastic, thank you. All right, just as Doc just said, we have one more thing to do, and then we will be done, and she's already here. Edith Young Akan, Head Compliance SIPML, to help organize the order of photography.
Okay, everyone. I don't know why they gave me this part. I think I'm a bit vain, so somebody must have realized that, yes, Eddie likes to take pictures, so let her come and do the pictures. So I'm going to crave the indulgence of our distinguished guest, my CE, Dr. Demola Shogule, my other CE, aka errand boy to Dr. Demola Shogule. Please, could you come up on the podium? We would like to take another picture. Madam Chair, I call her Chair Baby. Madam Chair Baby, please. Just come around the picture, yes, around the picture. Bridget, do you want to pose them? Oh yes, fantastic, okay. Please, let's have that shot. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Can I ask the cover leaders, the ladies on our cover who are in the building, please come, please come. You'll be joining them shortly. Thank you. Thank you. Come forward for me. Come forward, come. Fumi is like, you don't like to take pictures. You have to learn from me. Okay, one more person. Yes, darling. We've given you enough exercise today. Thank you. Thank you. Beautiful. All right, thank you. I would like to excuse our cover leaders. I would like to excuse our distinguished guests. No, Doctor, I still need you on the stage. And I still need you on the stage too, thank you. Let me ask all country member EXCO members present, all country EXCO members present to please join us at this time. Thank you so much. Yes, thank you so much. Oludi, the man in our midst. Thank you so much. I cannot see clearly. Yes. Is this okay, the photographers? Yes, I think. Okay. Thank you so much. Okay. Do we have any board members online? Please, at this time, can you please put on your cameras? We'll take a virtual picture. Let's have you guys here and then the board members online. Please, any board members online? Do we have that shot? Malobi, do I have confirmation that the shot has been taken? Okay, so thank you. Country members, you may please, Dr. Shugula, you know, I still need you. I still need you. Okay, can I have the BWN GovCo members join us at this time? Already you're coming back. Yes, please. All of you are back. I should be in this picture, lest I forget. Okay. Thank you. We have the BWN EXCO members join us at this time. Thank you so much, ladies. Please come up. Thank you, ladies. Please smile. This is a joyful occasion. Let's see your beautiful smiles. This is for posterity. A picture paints 1,000 words. Thank you so much. You're looking beautiful. Thank you, ladies. Thank you. Thank you, Doc. Thank you, Wale. Much appreciated. And last but definitely not the least, can I ask that the men in our midst, once again, let's have just the men in our midst. Madam Chair, you can descend. Let's have just the men in our midst. Thank you so much. All right. I don't know if men don't smile, but please try. It's a very serious smile you have there. Thank you so much. And I would like to ask Ayo to please join, yes, as an honorary staff of Stanbic IBTC. Yes, please join them on the stage at this time. Thank you so much. Madam Chair, my honorable chair baby. Thank you. Everyone looks so beautiful. Can we do this every day? Doc, will you allow us? Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. You may come down from the podium now. Thank you so much. And Ayo, over to you.
Thank you, Eddie. Thank you so much. And so we've come to the end of this year's Blue Women Network Conference. May I please ask that you kindly remain seated? We have something nice and something sweet to hand to you. So please, we'll have refreshment and a souvenir to give to you. And as Funke Amobi said, thank you, Doc, for releasing the budget. So what you see inside your pack, please then just send a nice email. Thank you so much. And we have an evaluation survey. Please, for those who are participating online, it's in the link. You would send a link online. For those who are here, we have a QR code to scan. Would love to get your views on how today's event was, what you liked, what we could improve on, so that next year it will be bigger and better. We look forward to the magazine coming from the top. So this is a challenge. It must drop from the top. It came from inside, but thank you all so very much. As always, such an honor, a pleasure to serve as your host, your MC. Thank you to Wale, thank you, I'm so grateful. Thank you, Doc, always so grateful. Thank you to the Blue Women Network team. Thank you, Bridget, I'm always grateful to serve. Thank you. See you next year.